Alrighty, brothers and sisters, today's video we're going to be talking about, should you be buying the dip? Should you be worried about what's happening here today in the market? As you all see now, the war is continuing, and the market today, as of Monday, seen a bit of some green as the stock market started to rally. Bitcoin started to rally with it, but then again we have more news coming up, then the market goes down. Exactly like I said in the previous video, we're going to start to have more chop in this range here, but overall the bigger picture remains very bullish, and this is what I'm gonna share with you here in today's video. So let's get into it. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. First of all, if you're still in the crypto space today, consider yourself an expert right now. Consider yourself one of the few, as if we go to the crypto fear and greed index today, it's at extreme fears. Now very few people are left in the market, very few people are still here. You can see this by the amount of views most of the YouTubers are getting. You can see that by the amount of interest that is in the space. You can see this as well by the prices with cryptos and crypto altcoins. But in general, these are the best time to be around. So crypto is just not for those that like it when it's green, and for those that like it when it's pumping. Crypto, people that make money in crypto are those that stick around for as long as possible. It is a marathon, it is not a sprint. Anyways, let's get into today's video. So first off, whenever I see these kind of conditions happen in the market, I like to look at the stock market, because this is basically our biggest indicator, like Bitcoin is, but this is pretty much the global economy and what it says and what it does and tells us everything here. So as I showed you in the previous video, we've got this COVID-19 crash back in the days here, and after it we have the same pattern as today. So pretty much what happened after the COVID-19 crash, we got this rally that's created a bull market. So if we add ETH BTC pair here, if we add ETH USDT pair here down below, you can see that after the stock market or S&P 500 broke its all-time high, we've seen a rally by Ethereum, and as well we had the same thing happen back in the days here with the stock market breaking its all-time high. So it's very visible here again. Whenever the stock market breaks its all-time high, we see this kind of rallies. We see Ethereum rally right after it. And when I say Ethereum, it means altcoins are pumping. So that's what we got going on here today. Now, even though we've got the war again, so today is Monday, today the stock market opens. I was waiting for it to open so that I can make my video and then we can assess the situation. So you could think that after we have big war headlines again, that the market will crash. So what happened is that the market, now if we look at the 15-minute or the hourly chart, actually the market did not crash. And what happened is that we had the open, the market pumped, then dumped, and then now it's sideways. So it's not really crashing, and Bitcoin is at $101,000 here, holding strong. I do think that Bitcoin did pull the low here. So usually Bitcoin likes to do those, take out the previous lows and stuff like that, and then bounces. So that's what we're looking at here today. Probably we are forming something like a triangle or a descending triangle here on Bitcoin, which usually is play out something like that. So pretty much Bitcoin goes back here to 108, then comes back down to 101, and some point it's gonna break out. Now we want the S&P to break out. Now another thing that's really important to look at when we have times like that in the market is the VIX, or the volatility index. So the volatility index is pretty much the index that tells us whenever we have spikes in the volatility, and usually this marks bottoms when it spikes, because that shows us that there was a lot of this usually spikes when there is a black swan event like COVID, like a recession, like tariffs, like whatever is a big thing seen by the market. So if we add Bitcoin here as well, you notice that whenever this spikes, so this was the tariff spike, whenever it spikes it marks a bottom. So it spiked back in the days here, it marked the bottom, and since then we're just trending higher. And now here you remember with this Germany selling, and we had some bad news as well. Now you got the spike was the bottom as well on Bitcoin, and again, and last one we had was the COVID spike here. So the VIX went up, volatility telling us there is a lot of volatility. This was also black swan event, and right after it we seen the market recover. So you might be wondering what's going on today. Now what's going on today is we have no volatility, and it is simple because we just had one. Usually it does take some time between to events like those, like a spike in the fix. So this was last time, this was 245 days between two spikes. Now usually it does take way longer, so this also marks recessions like in the COVID time. So these that usually do take long to play out, and today we just had one not so long ago. This is pretty much 77 days, so usually it's around 245 days, which takes us well into the end of the year, which pretty much where I do see Bitcoin pretty much topping and the cycle topping pretty much by the end of this year, as well as the beginning of 2026. So the reason I'm sharing with you this fix is just to see that the market has already bottomed in the tariffs news, like we see with the SPX here. It did bottom with the tariffs. This was the event that got everybody to sell and freak out. So now whatever happens, the market does not crash. Now keep in mind, this crash was very aggressive. Now today we have even worse news, but the market does not crash as aggressively because everybody sold. Same thing like back in the days here. So when we look at the ETFs as well, nothing major is happening with the ETFs. We are seeing even some inflows, not big, with Bitcoin yesterday or Friday, 6 million only, while on Ethereum we've seen sell-offs for the first time. Some sell-offs, 11 million. This after a long time of just accumulation here by the ETFs of days of over $100 million each day, or $200 million. So a sell of 11 million is not that big, and it makes sense because usually these banks are holding users or clients ETH, and with these clients, if they feel unsafe or they freak out by the news, they want to sell. That's what you see here pretty much. But overall, the appetite is still there. People are still buying, ETFs are still buying, and most importantly, Bitcoin is holding above 100k, which is interesting to think about what world we live in. Back in the days here, back in the time, everybody would think that 100k would be a psychological resistance and would never break it, would just touch it and go back down. But now today we're standing right at it as support, while there is big bad news happening. So now to the thing that really interests us here, which is altcoins. Now, altcoins are still waiting for the real alt season to happen, which has not happened yet. So usually that happens when we have rate cuts and when we have a favorable market, when we have greed and retail coming back, feeling better about the economy, about the situation and whatnot, whatever happens. So we're still into the fear on that fear and greed index. Nothing really major is happening. Also, we're still in the Bitcoin season. Bitcoin dominance is really still climbing. So we do not have yet any alt season. Bitcoin dominance continues to grind higher, and as you all know, whenever these things go down, this is when we have the alt season. So it has not happened yet. We did not miss it, if that's what we really are worried about. So we did not miss the alt season yet. The Bitcoin dominance just continues to grind higher. Today at 65%, just keeps going up. Now once this breaks down, this is when we get the alt season. So that's why today I'm not worried about altcoins. When I look at them, I just buy whenever I can, whenever I like to buy them. I'm just buying, I'm holding, I'm just waiting for the alt season to happen. And the main thing that keeps me holding is knowing that now, looking at the stock market or the S&P, that once this breaks the all-time high, as I'm showing you now with Ethereum, once this breaks the all-time high, Ethereum goes crazy. And when I know that Ethereum goes crazy, altcoins go crazy. So that's what I'm actually eyeing. That's what I'm looking for here. Today, I just waited since it's Monday and the news came out on the weekend. I'm just waiting for Monday to happen. I'm just waiting for Monday market to open. I'm not coming up to conclusions. I'm not freaking out or panic selling over the weekend. I'm just waiting for what the stock market is going to do, and the stock market continues to go up. So as soon as this breaks all-time high, we're going to be way into the clear. Pretty much this could also argue that the war would accelerate the rate cuts to come much sooner than expected, because if actually America decides to fund this war, and while they have big debts going on, they are going to have to pay a huge amount of money in interest, and that's why Trump wants Feds to lower interest rates so that the government does not pay too much interest. And especially if they're going to war, they're going to need a lot of money. So also that could be a case where we see rate cuts coming. Now, this is not the best thing we wish for to happen. All in all, I don't think the rates are going to stay that high. and at some point they're gonna cut them, and it might just coincide with the all-time high with that on the stock market or S&P, as people flee from the dollar that is crashing, buying stocks, buying gold, buying Bitcoin and all that. It is a matter of time before everybody jumps ship from the dollar to other assets as the dollar continues to weaken, and as we see now, people are not very happy with what's going on, and the dollar continues to go down. So people are going to need to get out of it. And once it goes down, also this indicates also more stimulation is coming and more liquidity is going to get injected. Those are the positive things I'm looking at. Now, generally, as I just explained, the stock market is really what I'm looking at. In this kind of times in the market, with this news, this is what really matters, because if this thing goes down, nothing really matters anymore. But it is exactly going as it should go, and it's following that 2019-2020 playbook. So we're going to keep an eye on this one, guys. Here, as I said, I'm just still accumulating. Nothing really major is happening, as you can see here. Now, we're not yet in a major all season, so I'm not expecting altcoins to fly to the moon tomorrow or the day after. What I really want to see them doing is just holding strong here or staying around till we get past this, which I do think is not gonna last for too long. Usually with bad news, they do affect the markets few times and then they stop affecting the market. We've seen this with the tariffs. Whenever the tariffs, when they just came out, they did start to affect the market, but then at some point they stopped affecting the market because just pretty much everybody that gets shaken by the news gets out. So this is what we're going to be looking at some point, where the war news will not affect the market that much. So far the market is holding strong and the promised alt season is on its way. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching today's video till the end, and I'll see you on the next one. Cheers.